Welcome to Around the House Northwest, presented by PGE and Oregon Kind of Energy.
Hey guys, welcome back for another edition of Around the House Northwest here on Fox 12 Plus. I'm Eric G. You know, each week we like to show you a little bit of everything when it comes to your house and what's in it. It could be our Made in Northwest segment, highlighting the many things that are crafted locally, to our Perform Like a Pro segment, showing you how to start and finish a project the right way. In this week's show, it's all about being prepared in case of an emergency. We'll check in on ODOT's monumental project to retrofit the 205 bridge for an earthquake and give you a few easy steps to fire-scape your home. But first, your front door is all about curb appeal and the introduction to your home. Need to replace mine? Maybe I can inspire you to liven up your front entrance.
Now it's time for Perform Like a Pro, sponsored by The Wall.
Hey guys, today we're going to work on installing a door, but the biggest thing is we're going to be changing the framing. Let me get you up to speed what we got going on here. So I've got my 36-inch door right here, and the new one that's going in is 42 inches wide, which means I got to come up with 6 inches of framing. Now here's a couple things that are really important when you start thinking about framing a door. In my situation, I have a header that's going across the whole top of this. So I can actually move this because this isn't load bearing. And what I mean by load bearing is the weight of the house that's being carried is actually out here. So this is just interior framing. So we've checked that, we're good to go. I can move this over 6 inches without causing any span issues. When in doubt, if you're tackling this at home, consult a construction professional like an engineer to make sure that you've got the right thing going. You don't want to make it where something sags or fails. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out some framing here and make room so we can get this over so we have room for the new door to go in. So let's get out the Sawzall. All right, our first step here, guys, is this is the old windowsill. So I'm gonna take this out because this is gonna be in the way. So I'm gonna get the Sawzall in here and cut some nails off. And having the right blade is good. This should cut right through those nails. And I'm not worried about the drywall here because I'm gonna have a ton of drywall work later on this side. So let's get in here and cut some nails off. All right guys, so here's the thing. When we're dealing with doors, there's two dimensions that are important. One is gonna be the rough opening dimension. That's how big we need to frame it. And then there's the actual door size itself. So like this door here is 43 3/4 on the width because you've got the door plus the frame. And then I've got 81 11/16 as far as the height. So we need to make sure that we have some room for that to slide in, shim it up, so that way we have room to adjust it. So let's start out with our dimensions here. So our rough opening is going to be 43 3/4. So I've got it over here. So that's going to be all the way over here. But there's going to be one more thing. I'm going to add 1.5 inches to this over here. So we're going to be a little bit wider because I want to get that away from that door a little bit so I have room to trim it. And that's one thing that I have the ability to do is to slide this over just a little bit. And that's going to make a big difference on the finish of this project. All right, guys, a couple helpful tips here. These 2x4s are really the whole latch side of this. And so the door is going to be bigger, but at the same point, this is the strength. So if someone is to come up and break into your house, kick the door down, getting these in and secure is key because that's what keeps this door shut and the bad people out. So I'm going to make sure that we get this really screwed in. I'm not going to be using nails. We're going to be using screws. Now, I need to get a dimension here to get this in here. So let's take a look and see what we need. So let's go cut two 2x4s, 81 inches. All right, let's cut some wood, 81 inches. Definitely want these to fit in there tight because it's really important. So I'm gonna mark that there. Cut it and leave the line because I can always take a little bit more off. This is what I talk about here about leaving the line. I like to leave just a little bit of this, so that way I know that dimension might be a little bit long, because I want that to be as tight as I can, because the tighter fit, the easier it is to fasten together and to hold it together. All right, so here we're gonna use a structural screw. That means this is gonna take the load of anything we throw at it. I don't wanna use just regular basic construction screws, because those can snap off under heavy load. So we're gonna use this big 4-incher and use as much of this wood above it as we can. So I'm gonna toenail this in here to lock us in. Don't forget, you have two sides of this, so this needs to go on both sides. Let me get those in. All right, our next step here is to get some blocking in here, which is really simple. That way, when I have this sheathed with the plywood, that I've got a place for that to fasten, because you always want to have a place in the corner to fasten that. And so really, we're done here. Our next step is going to be get the Sawzall out and remove all this so we can start adding that brand new door. All right, one of the keys to doing a door like this when it's big is getting some help. We got Tyler, REF Construction. Thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah, not a problem.
Let's knock this door out. First thing we got to do, we got to take this thing out of here. So let's remove a door. Let's go over here to my right. All right now the key is to getting this kind of base where we need it to be. I just pulled out that 1970s alarm cable that we don't use. But really I need to make sure that we've got this nice and flat so when that door fits in, it'll seal up and set correctly. And so with that, I got to make sure that this is dialed in. So we're going to add onto this and get this leveled out so we're looking good. That way we've got a nice flush area right there. Hey guys, one of the most important parts that gets forgotten is flashing this. And so what we're going to do, I've got an overhang over the top, but I'm still going to flash this back around in case we get water in behind it. I want to control that. So it's time to get some zip flashing up. Make sure this is going to be watertight. All right, we got this prepped up, ready to go. Our next step, let's trial fit the door frame and see how it fits, and we can adjust it from there. All right, so this is a really tight fit in here, so we're gonna take one of our shims out of the bottom and get this thing in so we've got a little bit more room to work with. I wanna be able to shim this exactly how we want, so a tight fit isn't always great. So we've got a plan for that right now, and we're just making room for it. All right, like with any door, we need to be able to get that thing plumb level and installed correctly. We're a little tight right now, so I'm gonna take a little bit of wood out of the top of the header. It's not structural, we got plenty to work with. So, time to get the saw out and remove a little bit more wood to give us that extra room. You know, that's one of the things with an in-swing door like this that's on a pivot is we gotta make sure that it clears the floor and everything else. So I'm just removing another 1/2 inch off the top so we can shim it up and get it the right dimension so everything works perfectly clean and smooth. All right, now we're just trying to get this thing kind of in here with the shims and get it where we can get it all square, plumb and level. That way we have it kind of self-supported here before we put any fasteners in. We want to really take the time and get this right. And so this is where you trust the level, trust the square, make sure everything's looking good. All right, now one of the things is this is a monster heavy door, so it takes multiple people to do it. We've got that really cool template that makes it sit into the pins because with this door, there are no hinges, and that's where the details matter. All right, one of the things we're doing right now is making sure that we don't have any rock in that bottom sill to make sure that that's not moving since the door is actually on 2 pins and it pivots down there. It's one of the most important parts of this process, so we're just making sure that's locked in and doesn't move. Thanks for your help today, brother. This has been great. I really appreciate you guys and REF Construction helping us out.
Yeah, not a problem. It was a pleasure as always.
This is a beautiful walnut pivot door system. I gotta say a special thanks to Simpson for helping out today. This thing is gorgeous and the new entrance to my house.